Welcome back to Grim Survival. I am back. Recently I did a video of, well, I guess it's been about 2 weeks ago. I did a video about sleep because I was tired that day and I've been having trouble sleeping. So I posted a video about the importance of sleep during a SHTF or survival situation. And I'm sure you know what the importance of it is, and I'm not going to bother going over all that again, but I did test the military sleep method, and that is what this video is going to be about today, is the results, basically. I've been kind of reluctant about posting this video just because of the varied results I've had with this particular sleep method. That being said, I've had varied results, but the method does work. I mean, in general, the method does work. If you do it, and in certain scenarios and circumstances, it probably won't work, and that's what I'm going to try to tell you, but it does work generally. So I tested in several different ways, actually, and this is what's taken so long, really, of getting to the video. And I probably could have tested a little bit more, and I probably had a couple of plans too, but just because there's really no point to it anymore in my particular research and studies here of it. But just to recap, the military sleep method, or it's sometimes referred to as the Navy sleep method, but it was widely used throughout the military for many years. It's a rather old method, is to fall asleep in 2 minutes, and basically all you have to do is relax all of your muscles in certain orders, basically, or just relax all your muscles throughout your body, and then clear your mind. And they say to think of a soothing scenario, a calm sea, like laying in a canoe in a calm sea or something like that. That's the general idea. It doesn't have to be that, but it could be if that's what calms you, or to think of any other kind of calm scenario. Some people said that the best way for them was to just think 2 words: don't think, don't think, don't think, and keep thinking that until, they passed out. And for me, it worked pretty much like that. I had to stop my brain from working, and it's not the easiest task because I'm one of those types of people that are always thinking about something, which is why I started posting videos, because I'm bored and I don't have nobody else to talk to during the day, because, people work and sleep and all that other stuff at odd hours. So I started talking to my phone. Anyway, back to the point. Sleep. The first way I tested this, of course, was at home in my bed at night. I was tired. I've worked all day. I worked 12 to 14 hours a day. Literally, in this truck, I spend 12 to 14 hours a day. You may think I don't do anything because I'm sitting here behind a steering wheel, but let me tell you about my job. It's stressful, and by the end of the day, you are tired. So, basically, I explained my job to some people as a truck driver. Your job is... A lot of truck drivers say your job is to hurry up and wait, but that's not true. Your job is... throughout the day, every day, all day, is to not hit something. And let me tell you, that is not an easy task, because people are stupid. People drive stupidly. People think they drive good. They don't. They're always looking down instead of looking forward. So my job all day, every day, is attempting to not hit someone or something. And it doesn't always work because I have. So, moving on. I practiced... The first test I did of the sleep study, or the sleep method, was in my bed at home. And the first day, it was kind of iffy. The second day was by the third or fourth day, it did work. Within less than 2 minutes, I was able to relax my whole body and stop thinking and actually go to sleep. And that would be the quick end of the story if I thought it should have been, but that's not the point of a survival scenario. A survival scenario, you're not going to be comfortable in your bed at night sleeping. It's just not going to happen. The most likely thing and the most common thing to happen in survival scenarios when people actually do sleep is when they are so exhausted that they have no choice. Their body just makes them. So, and that's a bad thing to get into, because by the time you're that exhausted, you have a lack of judgment, you have a lack of motor reflexes. I mean, you could fall, you could break something. Yeah, it's not good. So sleep. So I thought to myself, well, anybody can fall asleep rather quickly in their own bed in a comfortable situation when they're relatively tired. I also tried it on a weekend where I wasn't all that tired. I went to bed a little early. I had a little bit of coffee later in the day, so it didn't work quite as well. I mean, it didn't. The coffee probably had a lot to do with it, but, survival scenario, Adrenaline's going to have a lot to do with it, or heightened awareness or paranoia. So the second way I tested the sleep method was in my car. I literally tried it in my car to go to sleep, and it worked the first time. It really did work. My car is the car I was trying it in is a 2011 Chevy Impala. So it's not the biggest thing. I'm 5'8", and I cannot fit across the back seat stretched out. I can't do it. It's just, no. Nope, not happening. So it was not comfortable, but it was still relatively safe and somewhat comfortable. Being that it was in my driveway. I mean, I'm in a safe place. I know where my car is sitting. I know what's around me. I know the people who may or may not come by in the middle of the night, which is very unlikely. There's just nobody wandering around outside in my neighborhood in the middle of the night. So it's still relatively safe and comfortable in the backseat of the car. So the next time I tried it was in Walmart's parking lot. It did not work. It did not work at all. My awareness was up. People were walking past. I'm not like in the middle of Walmart's parking lot, right, and parked in between a bunch of cars. I'm parked on the outskirts of the parking lot, not even near the main road, but there were several trucks parked in this general area, so the truck drivers were sleeping there too. And I did not stay the whole night in the Walmart's parking lot. That's just, no. But I did attempt the sleep method in Walmart's parking lot, and I probably laid there for 2 hours, maybe 3. I didn't start a timer when I started this because I forgot. Anyway. Also, I didn't record any videos of me sleeping because even if I did, I wouldn't have shared them with you because that's kind of creepy. So you're just going to take my word for all of this. But in Walmart's parking lot in the car, it just didn't work. I was paranoid, really. If people were walking by, I kept hearing things. I would look up, I'd look out. I mean, it just didn't work. So from that standpoint, if you're in a SHTF type scenario, this is more of SHTF instead of survival. There's civil unrest. People are going crazy. Let's say you're me and you have to walk 150 to 200 miles back to your house because you're a truck driver and that's how far away you are when SHTF happens. So if I had to walk home and I was looking for a shelter or for whatever reason to sleep in, and I decided that I was going to sleep in a car, which would probably never happen because I'm not stupid, and sleeping in a car, in my personal opinion, in SHTF would be stupid. So if for some reason I found myself in a car sleeping in an SHTF situation, it probably wouldn't happen. I probably would not get any rest. For one thing, when you're laying in the backseat of a car in a parking lot in a crowded area, or even in the middle of the night where it's not necessarily a crowded area, but there's still people coming and going, you're just going to not be able to relax. You're always going to be thinking, is somebody there? Or you're always looking around. You're always aware. So it's probably not a good idea. Not to mention you're completely exposed in a car. Even in a pickup truck, even in a semi-truck, you're completely exposed. There is nothing in a semi-truck. If you've ever been in the bunk, you know you can't really see out. There's not really windows, but there are windows in some trucks, but they're not like windows. I mean, yeah. So you can't see around you. Even in a car, if you're laid down in a back seat, or even in an SUV, if you're able to stretch out, which, you know, I have a Suburban, but that was not going to work either because that's too comfortable. So you feel exposed. You just do. And that's how that is. Okay, so moving on. I tested in the bed. I tested in the car. I tested in a hotel room. It did work. It didn't take 2 minutes. It took more like 10. I'm used to sleeping in very dark rooms with a fan. So ambient noise. I have to have that fan running to relax and to stop the flood of sounds that are coming from the outside. I live in a suburban area, so I hear sounds outside. I just do. If I don't have the fan on, I will hear people talking. I can hear people driving down the roads. And it will just keep me up. So I sleep with a fan on. That being said, in a hotel room, it was quiet. I did not have the fan. It wasn't as dark as I like it because it's a hotel room. Now, I'm the kind of person that sleeps in the dark because light bothers me. I could have my eyes closed right now. I can see the light through my eyelids. I can be laid in a very dark room, pitch black room, in the middle of the night. A cell phone can light up while I'm laying there with my eyes closed. I can see the light. So I like sleeping in dark because I have apparently thin eyelids and I can see through them. It's odd, I know. Anyway, so in the hotel room it didn't work very well just because there was too much light and there was not enough ambient noise. I could hear people outside. I could hear sirens down the road. It didn't work. So those were the three main things I tested. I did try it in this truck sitting up. This was probably the only try. I think I tried it once on my couch sitting up, and I was really tired, so it probably did work. But I've tried it in this truck, not that tired. By the time I'm here, sitting here for the hour and a half I sit here on a daily basis, it didn't work. I have slept in this truck before. Not this particular truck, but truck just like it. I was really tired. I had probably been up 22 hours, slept 2 hours, got back in the truck, drove. You're not supposed to do that, but I did it anyway. And yeah, you can pass out anywhere when you're exhausted, but the point of it is not to get to being exhausted. The point of it in a survival situation is to be fresh and have your mind with you, to, all your senses at 100%, making sure your brain's working at 100%. And when you're exhausted, your brain is probably working more like 20%. And that, you could look it up. There's studies on it, but my rough estimate would be 20% of brain capacity. That's just what I think. So the overall test results is, yes, it does work. My addition to the method of sleeping is it's better to feel comfortable, to make it work effectively, to be safe and comfortable, like in your own house. But in a survival situation, that's not going to be possible. You're going to be sleeping somewhere that's very uncomfortable. It's definitely not soft, and it's definitely not safe. So you could possibly have insects crawling across you. If it's cold, you could be shivering all night long, even though you're by a fire. I mean, so conditioning really comes into factor here. The military, yes, it's going to work for them better, just because they're exhausted all the time. If you've ever even looked up a boot camp for any type of military service, whether it be National Guard or Marines, boot camp, 8 weeks of intense physical training, followed by or coupled with lack of sleep, because you don't sleep a full 8-hour shift in the military. You just don't. So that being said, yes, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, you're probably fairly tired anyway. The method's going to work. If you're not that tired, even if you're comfortable, it's varied. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. It just depends on the ability you have to shut down your mind. So conditioning is a key factor. You're going to want to practice now, basically. If you've ever thought that you could be in an SHTF or survival situation, sleep now. I mean, because you're not going to then, but try. You could practice and condition yourself by going into uncomfortable places, walking out into the woods. Try to sleep in a primitive shelter like the bushcraft channels teach you to do. I mean, you can try different methods to make yourself uncomfortable and try to sleep through it. That is the only way, really, I would say to condition yourself. Otherwise, in a survival or SHTF situation, you're probably just going to go without sleep. I mean, even if you're in your house, if you have no power, if you're used to sleeping with a fan, you're used to sleeping at night, and now you have to stay up at night to make sure, the neighbors haven't gone nuts and are trying to kill you. So, I mean, there's just so many variables. So, in general, yes, the method does work. Results are varied. It may or may not work for you. Give it a try. You can look it up on Google. Just type in a military sleep method or Navy sleep method. Either one of these will come up, several links, and you can read all about the method of sleep. So, did it work for me? Yep. Will it always work for me? Nope. So, good luck. Give it a try. That's all I can say. And remember, survival is grim. It's not going to be all comfortable sleeping on a bed of roses, although I don't understand that saying at all, because roses have thorns, so that would just hurt. So I don't know. Sleeping like a baby? Maybe. I don't know. Have a good one.